We keep hearing these stories from like our seniors also. They're like,
kya din the, yeah, and all of that. But really, kya din the? I feel generally that energy is shifting from advertising.
Rather work with a creative who can't make up their mind or a creative who's too rigid.
No, can't make up their mind. No, too rigid. Oh shit! Wow, this one is a tough one. How about the director as a conductor?
Oh, bus conductor.
Okay, no, I was thinking more opera, but.
Like, why are we making so many Women's Day campaigns when we are not doing anything to change it?
To close the gender gap, it's about 127 years. So I would suggest that if that's the rate we're talking at, keep saying it. Just keep saying it. It's fine. I mean, what you ask me was set story. I'll talk about the one in which shoot stopped because of me.
Interesting.
Okay.
Popcorn, I mean.
Welcome to our podcast. I am Namrata Mohindra, your host. Our agenda in this podcast is to get into personal spaces of creatives and ask them stupid, dumb, deep questions about what they exactly do. Because for 5 years in my career as a chotu creative, which I don't think is a lot, but I still feel is a lot because it feels like end of the world, I don't know shit. I don't know when people are talking about a lot of things. So this is just me trying to figure out what it is from professionals themselves. Today, we are at the Superfly Films, one of the top Indian ad directors. Someone I think should be a comedian, professionally. A professional dhania hater.
Yes.
Some people know her as a director, producer, founder of Superfly Films. I know her as my adoptive mentor. Please welcome Kopal Naithani. Please tell me I didn't misspell your name.
No, you didn't.
I would have just quit my job right now.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. You know, let's just chat.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, we're just here. Okay? Not on a PDPM for a change.
Yes.
But on a conversation about what are we doing here. Okay? So my first question to you is something I've wondered for a very long time since I've worked with you 3 months ago. How many adoptive children do you have?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and you wouldn't feel bad if you got the real number, right?
Fully. I'm here to be offended.
Okay. It's a professional thing these days. No, a lot. But let's say you're in the top 10. Yeah? Of the 100.
Okay, super. 100? You think, seriously?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I should be saying that I have adoptive children, but I do like people.
Yeah.
I came from an industry from a very old time, and I see systems are changing a lot now. So I try, and I feel that industry is good right now. Of course, evolution generally is good, but I also feel that the kind of learning we had in our time was way more in-depth.
Okay.
I think purely due to the lack of system. There was no concept of first AD, second AD, third AD, and all of that. Everyone was ADs. Whoever the loudest voice was handling the set, I was doing costumes and art and ADing on set and a bit of production work and all of that.
Right.
So I sometimes, when I look at newer ADs or younger creatives, I just find the need that if I can give a bit of that system back.
Yeah.
But it also is a two-way street because the fear of you're old school is always there.
Yeah.
So I try to do it in the nicest way possible so that people don't think, and just to give a little bit back. That's it. So by the extension of that, you could say I have adoptive. I have adoptive.
That's actually very cool. I was going to ask a question on the system and how it has changed and everything, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I think I just want to give a preface. My experience with you working on Birla, the project we did, I didn't get to meet you a lot for Queen for sure, but my experience was just, the way you are running this collaborative set is what I have aspired when I was becoming a writer, okay? And I don't want to make you uncomfortable. If this is, again, sorry. I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but I'm just saying from my experience, it also could be because this was one of the first films where I have actually been fully involved. So on Birla for the first time, I felt like I was actually needed on a set, not just for snacks, but like beyond, like I was actually feeling involved. I was actually feeling like I'm part of the production for the first time. It felt really cool and really important, self-important. Could be narcissistic also.
But it's not self-important, and don't, I mean, I also feel like don't try to push that urge down, because I'm saying, see, I've come in onto the project. What is the duration of an ad filmmaker on a project? 20 days? 25 days? Okay, a lot of changes, 2 months. But the thing is that the person who's written the script has come in on it from 6 months.
Right,
has
right.
like million versions of it. So I think a little bit of respect to that. And also, yes, of course, you know as a director what you're doing, but are we just that little check that, you know, is this the tonality that we wanted, that we like? And this also works, collaboration also doesn't mean just agreeing with each other.
Right.
Collaboration also means disagreeing a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And hashing it out and coming to it. And I think on a script stage, we all did that. Now that we disagreed, we agreed, and we said, acha, it can be like this, because that's how creative processes evolve.
Yeah.
And by the time we come on set, I think we are all on the same page, and it's always good to have your creative with you, because we're making this together. I'm not going, advertising by nature is collaborative. Direction may not be so much, but advertising as a form is, you're listening to a client, you're listening to the agency.
But a lot of people are not open to collaboration. Like, I'm not speaking directors, even clients. They come with very set minds, or agencies come with very set scripts, or so
that also
as much
happens.
as you would love for it to be collaborative, most of the time it's sadly not.
Eventually, see, projects are energies. There is synergy between people. A good project, a project itself may have problems, but the energy of the people and the goal is united.
Yeah.
You know,
everyone wants to get out a good film.
Yeah, but
Definitely.
now if egos come and stuff like this happen, that's the destruction of the film. Because now everyone is confused on set. No one knows what to do. So really, it just comes from there.
So I think the reason I was making you uncomfortable by telling you how good of experience I had was because I wanted to know, is there a reason you are conducting the set like that?
You know, I'll say one thing, that my boss told me this once ages back. Sujit, I used to work with Sujit, I worked with him for 16 years. So Sujit told me when I started directing, he says, "Tu set mein dekho karna jo kar le. Hamesha creative ko apne saath rakh. Always keep the creative with you, so that they can keep talking, they can keep connecting, and that's how you create relations with people.
Absolutely.
That's how you get everyone feels valued on set, and I think these are just generally good ethics to have on set.
So it's not something you're constantly is it something you're constantly striving towards, like, okay, let me do this, even if you don't
for me it's very natural. I'm generally also very collaborative. Even in our office, I try to keep a little democratic system. When a script comes, see, you can do what you want, but you must create space for people to talk.
Right.
You know, so when a script comes, and we do a lot of narrative work, I always encourage my ADs, my DAs, that don't come here to become best ADs. I want you to come here to become the best creative minds. You need to get into the practice of thinking and not just doing.
Right.
You know, so you're not ADs just to make dockets. You're doing AD work to become directors. So you need to approach it from there, because anyone can come up with a small insight. Anyone can say, "But ye to hota nahi hai." You work with people from different regions, so they can turn around and tell you ki the film is about Tamil Nadu, but in our state, and the script is saying something. It's not written necessarily by people from the region, and they'll give you regional insight. So I think the way forward is to have a more collaborative.
Absolutely.
Because growth of your team is your growth. So it's not, and it's not completely selfless and all. I'm not some like Mother Teresa sitting over here. The thing is that if my team grows, the thinking on me also, it helps me.
Absolutely.
Because now I can send them a script and say, "Okay guys, you know what to do, few points, evolve it, they will start working on it, we'll discuss it," and the entire process is faster.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So really it just comes from there.
In your experience with Sujit Sarkar, do you think you've picked up certain directorial habits or something you picked up from witnessing him that you still do?
A lot. And there are some things I wish I picked up which I didn't.
Please, pray tell.
No, that bit I can't. Because how we manage people and how we get them on their toes. So I just didn't pick up those bits. But no, I learned a lot from Sujit. So primarily Sujit was hardcore performance. You know, and that was it was a gift. The thing with Sujit was he never like I may today actively teach, like look at this, see what I'm doing and all of that. Sujit didn't actively teach, but he was so good at what he did, and if you could learn from him by observing him, if you had that intelligence to do that, there was so much to learn from Sujit.
Absolutely.
Sujit also kind of made you independent. Like if you go to the problem, he would help you to a reasonable point, and then he'd be like, now you need to figure it out. I picked a bit of impatience from him. Like, jaldi karo, shoot, you know, because Sujit kept us on our toes. He kept us on our toes. Like, he would tell me, if an actor wasn't performing, ja, isko dikha kya, kar kya. Pehle, you know, dar lagta tha. But dheere, I started getting used to it so much. It reached a point that our sync became so good that Sujit would come on set and I would set up the shot, be ready. Like, he would tell me, this is what I need, this is what I need. And that sync had happened, you know. So, I owe all of that to Sujit, you know. I mean, what do you ask me a set story?
Yeah, you go to set story, I'll tell you about this one shoot.
Okay, I'll tell you a set story. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Popcorn I need.
I'll talk about the one in which I kind of stopped, the shoot stopped because of me.
Okay.
So this was when I was in AD. I was working with Sujit. I'll never forget, we were shooting a film for Lay's chips. So the food stylist had changed, or I don't know what, there was some new food stylist we were going to. And Sujit, and I was random, because you know things, there were no positions then. I was randomly made in charge of the food shots. And I thought my job was just walking around with Sujit and making notes when I could. And the food stylist happened to be Bengali. And Sujit and he spoke in Bengali.
Oh.
Okay? And the minute Bengali happened, I tuned off. I'm like, cool, they're talking. And we left. And I was like, so we briefed him. I didn't know what I had to do. Like, did I have to ask him? Just 2-3 years in. And we go on to, now they come to the day of shoot. So for the day of shoot, so Joelda brings this oil tank. You know, the product shot is that you're going to put the Lay's chips into it, and those chips will fry. So you know that close-up shot of the chips just frying in front of you? You basically make a tank of hot oil. It's quite something.
So cool though.
Yeah, product is like very interesting if you get into it. It was a day that we were running late on shoot. So it was one of those things that 12 बजे रात को they were like हम product shoot करेंगे 2 बजे रात को and all of this, like one of those long days, huh? I was also doing costumes, also handling this because we all did everything, of course. And I see now the food stylist has come and he's slicing potatoes. And I'm looking at the potatoes. Now Lay's chips are ribbed. The potatoes are flat. So Sujit's then producer, Gary, was there. And I'm like, Gary, I love advertising. This is so cool. He says, why? He said, see, he's cutting plain potatoes. And now when you put it in the tank, it's going to become ribbed. I don't even know how that's going to happen. It's crazy. And he's like, what do you mean he's cutting plain potatoes? I said, he's cutting plain potatoes from what I could see. And he's like, no. Now suddenly Gary goes to see the potatoes. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, potatoes. Then someone else is brought in, look at the potatoes. And I'm like, okay, the potatoes. Someone else is brought in now, the potatoes. And now I'm like, is there a problem with they're like, you were there for the briefing, right? I was like, yeah. So they're like, what did they say? I was like, I don't know, they spoke in Bengali. I mean, I just thought I had to go for the meeting. Like, I had no clue. They had to like do notes and all that. And then we can't shoot this today. Sujit came and says, what are these potatoes? And I'm like, oh, now I've got like these tears coming up, like.
The magic of advertising will do something.
Yeah, there's hot oil, like 20 kilos of oil in a fish tank, and then plain potatoes. I'm responsible. So, like this really pathetic human being, I felt this small, this tiny, and everyone is like, "Ab kya karenge? Aaj ka to shift kharab ho jayega. Agla din shoot karna padega. This, that," and I'm just getting tinier and tinier and tinier. So I go like all these costume patties. I go right behind the patties, and I sit and I start bawling. I've ruined, lakhs of money has gone. It's because of me.
Oh God. Sometimes our problems sound so funny to me.
Yeah.
It's like oh my God, somebody took the jacket, costume department is crying, and I'm like, yeah, people are dying. And this is the problem of advertising.
I'm like crying like ripped potatoes. And now I'm thinking back, I'm like, how could that have even happened? How could that have happened? How can you put plain potatoes and become ribbed? And I'm like, the magic of advertising.
Now, I don't want you to judge me.
Oh, I would never do that openly, at least.
But can I just ask you, what is the difference between an AD and a DA?
So funnily enough, I asked myself this question for the longest time. Nobody knows this.
Nobody says anything.
Like
man.
someone, like when I came to Bombay first, they said, no, that guy's got a DA. And I was like, what's a DA? I'm an AD. Like, do I need to do this? That was when I was an AD.
Somebody said DA in front of me and I was like, no, you mean AD. They're like, no, I mean DA.
Yeah,
Like, no, you were saying it wrong.
So this DA, so when I first came to Bombay, someone told me it's someone who gets the director coffee and looks after the director. And I was like, are they babies that they need looking after? And I was like, maybe this is an American thing. Because in American, they say, no, interns are getting coffee and all of that. I said, maybe it's that. But honestly, I just didn't know. Then when I started this company, they said, we're going to get you a DA. I was like, okay. I didn't want to look like I didn't know what it was. And then I had to be like, what is it? And like, I think I Googled it and stuff.
Nothing comes. I tried this.
So what happens now is, DA is creatively close to a director. The DA makes pitches. The DA does all the referencing, the storyboarding, knows the angles. Everything creative is handled by the DA. And the ADs have become more functional where they come, the first will come, run a set. They'll say, I have a team to...
Operational.
More management.
Okay.
Running a set, planning the shoot. I mean, that itself is a creative job within itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you need to know your creative a bit, but you're not necessarily into what will the performances look like, what is the flow of the story looking like, because your second AD will typically become someone who's looking after art and picture vehicles. Another AD will be there to look after costumes and cars. That's the usual clubbing which happens. The drawback of this is that because this segregation has become so vast, I'm seeing that more DAs are converting to directors than ADs converting to, because you'll have people who are firsting for years, they're not converting that much.
Yeah.
But you'll have young DAs converting. Because creative is important.
Definitely.
This entire, while this system is good, I'm no one to say whether it's good or not, and everyone should do what they're happy with doing, but I think that this gap is something that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, definitely. But I would assume that then ADs become producers, aage jaake. No?
I think
Or am I
abroad
being
actually
dumb?
that happens.
Okay. But it's fully confusing.
It is. I also feel that not too many people know what directors bring to the table.
We will ask you that question very soon. Should we just ask Kavi only? Actually, yeah, why not?
What do directors bring to the table?
What does the director do?
See, I'll say one thing, director brings vision. Any story can be told a million ways. Any really emotional film that you see, or ad for that matter, you see now, in your head, turn it into comedy. I'm telling I have the same tagline, I'm going to do this in comedy. What's it going to look like? A director brings everything to the table. But classically what happens is, when a film is good, this is what reactions sound. What great camera work, shot so beautifully, actors kitne achhe the, arey music to, oof, can't stop singing, and all of this. When a film is bad, kya hai, agar director kar kya raha tha? So, all those things that you are praising in the film is what the director brings. Because this collective thing which has come together, this vision which has come together is the director. And that is what it is. It is all, what is direction? Direction is just choices.
Okay.
Who am I going to choose to shoot this film? How am I going to shoot this film? What are the actors going to do? How long do I want to stay on this expression? How long does this going to be? Will a certain track change the film?
Right.
Right. That's all the director. So actually, it's a lot of pressure because you're sitting there and everyone's just asking you questions, right? Like, what do you think? Is this correct? Is this correct? Sometimes you don't even know if it's correct or not. In the beginning when I started directing, it was very overwhelming because suddenly I was used to asking my director a question.
Yeah.
Because the transition from first to directing it's a big transition because
yeah.
you are so confident on other people's decisions and now you can be boss. Because you're confident that when my director wants this. This is how it's going to happen because that's what he wants. But now when people are asking you, you are trying to mimic that confidence, but you actually don't know
what. I want this.
I want this, and do I actually want this thing? So it's a lot of that. So, but really, it's also a lot of instinct. It's a lot of instinct.
But how would you explain it to your daughter if she is asking you, Mom, what do you exactly do?
My daughter has no clue. My daughter has no clue.
Yeah, like, I just have accepted it. It's like, ah, theek hai. This
Yeah.
is, it's
She thinks all I do is boss people around at a very basic level. She's like, you're just being boss. How about you don't be boss sometimes?
Yeah, and I have to ask that question now. So now I was actually, so we all have this dumb way of explaining our job. Like, what will be an analogy for a director? I have two options for you also. So you can explain on that. Do you think a director is a class monitor where everybody is doing their thing, but you are just maintaining discipline and making sure that the class is looking their best? Or is it like a trek guide that people are just following you wherever you take them because you promise you have seen the view? And even if you take them to murder site, they will come.
How about the director as a conductor?
Oh, bus conductor.
Okay, no, I was thinking more opera. But I'm...
I went from class monitor to bus conductor.
That guy. Yeah.
That's also called conductor.
Like, you play now, you stop now, you walk now.
Oh, that's so much nicer.
Yeah.
And my conductor, your conductor is a very good analogy.
What does a conductor do, right? He gets an orchestra to fit in seamlessly, right? Who plays, when they play, how loud they play, which instruments go shant at which point, and all of that. That's what it is. You basically get 150 people in front of you, and you make this entire thing sing and sync, and be melodious and beautiful. So that's what a director does.
They put on a show also.
And they put on a show, exactly.
Super.
So,
now let's talk about your childhood.
not trauma. Okay, cool.
Please. You tell yours, I'll tell mine.
Drinks podcast in which you don't drink, only I drink.
I was actually very scared that you were actually going to say it. Okay, you're born in Dehradun, right?
Yes, born and brought up.
How do you think, like, growing up in such a picturesque kind of small town shaped you as a filmmaker, as a storyteller? Like, do you think Dehradun comes off in your work or in...
I think it shapes my work majorly. Okay, so the good thing is, so I have a lot of influences in my life. I was born into a very, very middle class Gadwali family. When I came to Bombay, people didn't even know what Gadwali was. They kept thinking I'm Gharwali. Okay? And when I would say, they would say, Gadwali is from where? I'm like, Gadwal. So they're like, okay, Gadwal kahan hai? I said, then I'd just be like, Dehradun. Then they'd be like, Mussoorie se ho. I was like, correct, मैं Mussoorie se ho. So inherently a very middle class, very Indian family. That was my influence. I went to Vellum, which was an extremely posh boarding school. And from this very middle class world, I was thrown into a very upper crust world, which was not my exposure from home. So in fact, it would be like, when our moms used to sneak in food into school, my friends' moms were like sneaking in chicken mayo sandwiches, and my mother was sneaking in aate ka halwa. It was so embarrassing. I was like, Mummy, come on, don't you know how to make that? And she was like, Beta, I've never made this before. So it was a way. So I kind of got all those influences. Then I went to college and I kind of hung out with a very different Delhi crowd. And when I came to Bombay, I hung out with a very JNU kind of crowd, So I had all varied. So the thing is, now what happens is when you get a film and you have to do small town, middle class, I know it because it's my family. When I have to show middle class trying to become a little more upper bourgeois, what you may, I know that because I've seen that happen to myself, because I've always tried to fit in and whatever you need to do for that. When you talk of upper crust, because Vellum is a very equalizing place itself. As a boarding school, everything is equal. But it's only when I got out of school did I realize that my friends, were from such wealthy backgrounds. I did not know that. I knew it, but it's just knowing it and seeing it is very different.
Absolutely.
So, so that was another kind of route. But I was also staying in JNU, so I saw a very different, a more grounded world altogether. So all of this together, so now when I get a script, I kind of know all these milieus. And that really helps.
Absolutely.
It really helps.
But and what, like, not to generalize, but I have a lot of friends, again, even I am from like a very small city, but when I see these creatives who come from such different backgrounds, and not like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, there's just something else in their vision. Like the way they are able to see things.
Because there's so much aspiration, no? That's what it is.
I think it's just being away from home that kind of brings everything back to you.
Sometimes you go so far back that like people are like, okay, that even doesn't happen in small towns anymore. You're like, oh, okay. We'll
Sorry for my insights.
Yeah, sorry for my insights.
So we're back with Kopal. And now we're going to get serious, like into director conversations, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Now I want to ask, I don't know, you were answering questions as a director only, but now you have to answer as a director.
The directional questions.
Yes, as a director who's a director professionally directed. Okay, sorry. Okay, we'll get into it, okay? So, I know you have said in an interview how you got into direction. Like, you've spoken about some film appreciation.
Of course, yeah.
You got into, and like your eyes were opened and you were like, oh, this is it. This is my calling, which is so great to have that. But do you remember which films were being played that got to your soul?
I think I remember them a little better a few years back. The thing is, I'm saying at a larger level, we all grew up on Amitabh Bachchan films, Hindi films. We consumed it like crazily back then. So, I mean, DDLJ released during my college, when I was in school. I think I was in my 12th that time. And I saw that film about 14 times in the cinema hall. I could, and on the VHS, like, we used to order VHS players. It did it, like when the lines used to come because the tape was so ghisod, like that. I've seen it
that
about
happened?
20. Okay, sorry, you wouldn't know this, but okay, that was a thing for anyone who's like from a different generation. So I could say the dialogues of the movie along with it. Like
15 times?
In a cinema hall.
Oh,
like
super.
bunking tuitions, going there, good old school style.
Yeah.
It was this 15-day film appreciation course, which was with the French Embassy, Cinemaya, which was an Indian magazine which curated international films, and FTII. Now they have this as a 1-month course in FTII. So I did that, and then suddenly I was seeing like Kieslowski, Riefenstahl, Money Call, Saeed Mirza, all these filmmakers, and I was like, there is this world out there.
Yeah.
And you're also young and you're feeling, there's so many feelings going on, and I was like, and in my head I'm like, cinema can change the world.
Yeah, it does seem really powerful.
And I'm putting these logics in my head, I'm like, I like acting. I've directed 2 plays in school, really badly, but directing still. I said, maybe I can do this as a, maybe this can be my future. And I said that, this is what I want to do. So then I tried to apply for FTII.
Yeah.
But FTII was going through 0 years. And that didn't happen. Then a film called Rockford released, Nagesh Kukunoor's, and then I saw it at a premiere in Delhi. And when I saw that, I kind of chased Nagesh down with emails, with a handwritten letter and a phone call, and convinced him to take me on for his next project, which is Bollywood Calling, and that's where it all started. So that was it.
It's really cool. Now again, as a writer, I've always wondered how I can make a director's life easier. Are you a person who's like, no, send me just written script?
Write well. Write well is always, I'm telling you, a script which comes well written to you is always nice.
But what's well written for you? Like extremely descriptive, mood boards, all of that? Is that well written for you? Or is it?
No, just like on dialogues, on moments. Actually, I also find it a bit, I get a little intimidated when very well written scripts come to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How come?
Because I'm like, अब मैं क्या करूँ? Because I don't want to change too much.
Yeah.
So I get a little like,
leave something for me.
Leave something, because I think the greatest compliment you'll get from a director is, यार हमारे तो कुछ काम छोड़ा ही नहीं आपने.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying as a writer, when you're presenting a script, when you're getting onto a call with the director, if the director turns and says, guys, love it, absolutely love it, and you're like, oh, okay, it's all, that's also validating, right? On the writing end of it.
Yeah. So is there, last insistent question of my overthinking saga, is there something you wish writers did more or less?
Writers more.
I mean creatives, not writers. Writers is very restricting, but like creatives in general.
I do feel that there is a shift previously, like, because I also grew up at a time in advertising where I saw the creatives and the directors sitting really jamming on scripts, क्या कर सकते हैं, client को बोल देंगे हाँ ऐसा कर देंगे, you know, I really, and I've sat in on those sessions and they used to just seem so exciting.
Yeah.
क्या लिखा है, क्या बन रहा है, क्या shoot कर रहे, they were all different things. I feel generally that energy is shifting from advertising. I think we are not ready to fail anymore. We are not ready to fail at all.
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is, to create something brilliant, you have to take risks, you have to take chances. You have to say, you know what, screw it, let's just do it like this.
Yeah.
And then stand by it. And also, but for that, you really need that all the stakeholders are equally mad, and it could not work, but if it works, it will be magic.
Yeah.
So that little magic
Is missing.
every time you try to control it, that you keep losing magic.
So do you think like it was sets and this collaborative process used to be more magical before?
Way more can have.
And like what has fundamentally changed? Like we keep hearing these stories from like our seniors also. They're like, advertising
Kya din
used to
the,
be-"
yeah, and all of that. But really kya din the?
Yeah.
Really kya din the? It was.
What was it? Like it just sounds like a
Clients were
fiction.
braver. Clients were way more braver.
Yeah. You were telling the story about Sujit and someone sitting, like you used to see them.
Like Sujit and Keenu and his team, whenever they would sit, like script aati thi, after that everyone is just sitting for like 3 hours and chatting. We should just sit. क्या कर सकते हैं? अच्छा ये कैसा होगा? अच्छा ये कैसा होगा? अरे what if that happens? You bounce off each other's energy and you keep building on it. So you take it as a nice structure thing, and then you keep building on it.
Yeah.
And then when the films used to happen, they used to be just amazing.
Yeah. Do you think advertising was more aspirational before?
Aspirational?
Like I want to be...
Yeah, definitely. It was a way more, like a more creative aspiration, definitely more than.
I don't know if it's controversial as much as it is. What do you think? Okay. As a director. Okay.
I'm saying already I'm neutral on it.
Yeah. Fair.
No comments.
Fair.
I'm already giving my answers, no comments.
Lovely answer.
Yeah.
But let me tell the question. You read a lot of women first films. You read a lot of women first scripts. Now, as a consumer of that content, do you feel that there is a little bit of fatigue in those stories at times?
I don't think that there is any fatigue from all of this. In fact, if nothing else, these become, when they come in these spurts that they do, they become reminders, because it's not like you've heard it and now you're following it or you're living by it or you're questioning it or you're altering things you're doing. But each time this pops up in your life, maybe there is one different aspect of your life you look at.
Yeah.
Maybe something happens. And maybe you are fatigued.
Yeah.
And fine.
Because it's like there comes a wall when this type of content comes to you, because you're like, you don't know how to react to it only after a certain point, because A, you've seen it, and B, it's like no one is listening. Why do we keep saying it? That's why it keeps triggering like the wrong spots. I feel for like, why are we making so many Women's Day campaigns when we are not doing anything to change it? Or we are, but it's slow.
A proper study shows that the gender gap, and I can't remember, I saw this in some of these Khan's ads only, to close the gender gap, it's about 127 years. So I would suggest that if that's the rate we're talking at, keep saying it. Just keep saying it. It's fine. And the thing is, life is not just about you.
Yeah,
maybe I'm saying for the fatigued people, maybe they're fatigued, but maybe there's a 16-year-old who sees it. The Barbie movie was seen by all generations.
I love that.
So now you imagine a 12-year-old who is seeing this, or a 13-year-old who is seeing this, is growing up with this, and not stumbling onto this awareness when she's 21 after like certain life experiences.
Yeah.
Or a 24-year-old. So it's fine.
Fair
it's
enough.
fine.
Now, when it comes to advertising, or when it comes to you, how do you as a filmmaker make choices on these sensitive subject matters?
See, I draw a lot of my work from personal experiences, and I've been fortunate enough that the work which has come to me has a lot of personal experiences.
Yeah.
I think the more real you make it, the better it is. So I did this film for Tanish called Superwoman. Okay, so for anyone who's not seen it or whatever, the story is about this woman who shows a perfect life. That she's acing work, she's acing home, she's acing her kids' school projects, all of this. She's at a party, it's a perfect party, and it ends with her saying, and there's this voiceover which is running, which is saying कि इनसे मिलिए, ये देखिए ये कितनी brilliant है, ये भी करती हैं और फिर इनको तो कभी like how she's this perfection, because within our advertising also we have pushed the perfect woman, the superwoman. She's acing work, she's acing home, she's acing everything. The voiceover is still praising, and she sits down to say she's human. But there is a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, who's a total superwoman, acing, picture perfect. And I kind of drew a lot from her life, and I included it into the the idea of her life. When the film released, not just her but so many women from my school group, women who I'm friends with, said, finally someone said it. This pressure of being perfect is just too much. So it works. Whatever work I've got, I've really just drawn from personal experiences. And I think when the honesty is there in the making, it resonates with people. That's all it is. Films are energies. That's it.
Do you think the recognition or awards even, do they give any validation at all, or is it fleeting?
They do.
Yeah?
They do. People say that don't run after awards and all. I've never run after awards. I didn't submit any of my films for awards for the longest time. But the point is, it's it feels good to be awarded for your work. If you've done good work, it lifts a team morale. Your office feels happy. The people who worked on it, that yes, I worked hard on it. There's a sense of pride with it. And that's now that's on the personal side. Now more on a commercial basis, you get noticed.
Definitely.
It leads to much more. It leads to much more. Your bio changes. And it's also, I'm not to go back, I mean, I know I carry on about this, but it's also important that women come into positions of power. So I think it does, all these things help.
Absolutely.
Because when you come in positions of power, if you can use your power well, you can uplift others. And that cycle is a good cycle. So I'm not one of those to say that awards are rubbish, and I think I have been there. I have been there, but I also didn't, because what happens as directors, we don't look at ourselves in terms of marketing, in terms of putting ourselves out there. You believe you'll do good work, on merit things will happen, but the world doesn't necessarily work like that.
Yeah. But so, my worldview is very limited to what I have been to, but so I'm wondering if that happens with awards also. If one film is awarded, are you ever in the back of your head like, but this film?
Yes, of course.
This should have gotten more recognition. This should have been like...
Exactly. That always happens. There are times you're like, seriously, you didn't win. That does happen, and it's natural. Disappointments are good. Disappointments are very good. Everything in life is not going to be success.
No, absolutely. Fair enough.
And the greater success will come from this only, because you'll also something to push you.
So we have the segments called on this fun podcast called I Have Stalked You.
You stalked me?
Of course I have. What do you say? Okay. In this beautiful segment, we ask people about something they have either written online or posted online.
Oh God, is it going to come back to bite me?
And we just try to get into the mind of this creative. There's this
oh my God.
There's this post on your Instagram that looks like London.
It was Dublin, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautifully shot, beautifully framed. There's a bird, and the caption's called Bird. I loved it. I think it's so funny.
Oh God, of all the pictures, a big bird.
What happened?
I think that's my take on social media. Because everybody is like, skies, we are here. So I was like, okay, bird. I also got one, guys.
Anyway, but I saw your IMDb and you're credited as an actor in Piku.
I dabble.
How did that happen? So, okay, full confession, I've not seen Piku yet.
Please do not.
What?
Do not see me. Skip me.
Oh.
See the film. The film is fab.
The film is amazing. It's in my watch list.
Do not see me. Just skip me.
But I really want to. I'm so excited.
I want
to
the
watch
funniest dialogue on the planet. Like, I come and talk about...
Do it again. Can you tell your dialogue?
I don't remember the dialogue, but it's basically he's got loose motions involved.
Oh yeah, the entire film is about that, right?
Yeah, so I'm Deepika's secretary.
Huh.
And I like, while she's in a meeting, I'm like, your dad's calling, and she's like, I'm in a meeting, and I'm like, she's like, just read the message. I'm like, no, and she's like, no, read the message, and I'm like, okay, he's got like loose motions again, something to that effect. And then I had a scene with that fan, of course, and I personally think that I was really good in the scene.
Yeah. How was it? How was it working?
So the scene itself was quite. It was quite something. I'm the secretary. I'm sitting. Irfan walks. He doesn't look at me but puts an envelope on the desk and leaves. That's the entire scene. So, but I think I was shining. I think I was shining in that scene. I was just like...
It was written for you.
It was written for me. It was written... They literally wrote me in. They're like, we have to have on this scene. Like, if he's going to put an envelope at any desk, it has to be your desk.
Right. It has to be your face with that envelope.
I mean, was he insecure? I don't know. You know, it happens, right?
He was threatened, that's why they, yeah.
No, it is.
But how did it happen? Did you audition? Or were you like, pulled, do this?
So, it's again a Sujit thing.
Yeah.
If you know, when you see his films, he'll take everyone and pull them in for a scene. Like, ye tu kar le. It's like his trademark.
Right.
He's like reverse Subhash guy. Like, he's not in it, but his entire crew is in it. So, whenever you're sitting on a screening, you're like, arey, look at him, arey, you were so funny in that scene, arey, like, you know. So,
oh shit, that sounds amazing though.
And the funny thing is that I start getting calls for acting.
Because it's on your IMDb.
So I get this call once, but I'm not going to name the production house. I'm not going to name production house. Like, this very major film production house calls me up.
Okay.
And they're like, hello. I'm like, hello. They're like, is that Kopal? So I'm like, yes. Yeah, we're calling from so-and-so production house, major production house. And I'm like, yes. Like, and I'm like, yes, tell me. So they're like, yeah, we actually, you know, we were reaching out to you for a project. And I'm like, oh, all my dreams are coming together. Yes, of course. I'll maybe like checking calendar and all. So they're like, yeah, so the role is of a, we are looking to cast a buaji. I'm like, excuse? A buaji? Like, I'm cast? They're like, yeah, so ये ऐसा हमारा role है, उसके लिए हमको casting है, आप audition दे सकते हो क्या? And I'm like, नहीं.
I'm looking for different type of roles too.
I personally think I'd be a great lawyer, activist. Like, that's my jam, I feel, but like...
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
Was it Karan Johar?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, but it was a major actors production house. Let's just say it was a major actors production.
Is there one quality, if someone has, you'll be like, you should be a director?
I think performance. I'm a performance director. So for me, performance is the greatest thing.
Right.
Everything else can be referenced, looked at, because we all know how much referencing we do these days. Everything else can be referenced.
Yeah.
But performance has to be felt.
Right.
You have to feel to be able to create a feeling. Empathy, also to look at things holistically.
Yeah.
To be able to see that if I to look at your lines, your dialogues, if I say this, how does it impact this person, to have a more holistic view on what you're putting out there. So that is what I work with. And I think that's a great skill set to have for anyone.
Okay, what would you tell someone with no connection, no resources, no nothing, on how they should try to become a director? How they should go about it, step by step?
I would say, find a director you like, DA, intern, stay with that person. What's happening is now there's a huge freelance culture. All the DAs are jumping person to person. It's good. You can, I guess, again, experience. Being with one good director for a long time gets you more in-depth experience. I feel you just learn more, and also somewhere that person also looks at you as someone who's solid and who they will convert into a director. Okay. So, and I feel that you just learn way more. You just learn with one person, but of course you should like working with that person. I'm sure the freelancing also works for everyone. I don't know because I have never done it.
Okay, fair enough.
But I feel then directors are not that invested in teaching you because you're also then functional for them. Take out these references for me. Why do you need to do this for me, do this for me, do that for me, and then you just carry on with that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So now we're going to get into our rapid fire quiz.
Okay. Let's do this.
Are you ready? You want coffee shot? Do you want to take deep breath, water, nothing?
I'm stressed.
Okay. Should be. Are you ready?
I'm competing with no one right now.
But yourself.
But I'm winning. It's like my walks. I'm always arguing in my walks and I'm always winning the arguments.
Awesome. Should we put a timer or something just to add more stress?
No. I don't think my age can handle it. And don't say tick tick one.
I will do it. Tick, 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 tick. Okay. But yeah, just assume.
Okay.
Running clock. Okay, ready? Early morning call time or overnight shoots?
Early morning.
Celebrity film, non-celebrity film?
I want to say celebrity but non-celebrity.
Low budget film or tight timeline film?
Tight timeline.
Kill, marry, hook up. Kill being you'll never work with them again, marry being you'll only work with them, and hook up matlab once in a while you can go. Producer, editor, DOP.
Whoa.
Okay.
What is the kill, marry, hook up thingy?
So kill matlab you'll never work with them again.
Kill, never work with them
Yeah.
again.
Marry matlab you'll only work with them. And hook up matlab you'll work with them once in a while, it's okay.
So I have to match the following?
Yeah. Your producer, your editor, your DOP.
A producer is marry.
Okay.
Hook up is editor.
DOP.
Kill. If it doesn't work out with the DOP,
Yeah.
I'll never work with the DOP again.
Okay.
That's very clear. Because that creative relationship is very important.
I need to look in the camera for this. Traditional agency or boutique agency?
Both. We're directors.
One. No, you can't give me a politically correct answer. Pick one. Pick one.
There is no one in this. It has to be both.
Fine. Would rather work with a creative who can't make up their mind or a creative who's too rigid? Tick.
No, can't make up their mind. No, too rigid. Oh shit! Wow, this one is a tough one.
A creative who can't make up their mind or a creative who's too rigid?
Creative was too rigid.
Would you rather work with the creative who's too rigid?
Yeah, because make up my mind makes my work confusing. Too rigid. At least he stands by what he wants.
Okay, fair enough. Direct what you know or direct something totally new to you?
I can't have both.
No.
Well, direct what I know.
A long day of shoot with no coffee or no smoking. Sorry, no tea or no smoking.
They're a combination. That's not even fair. You can't split them up.
That's right.
Oh, okay, smoke. With no tea.
Okay. Pre-production meeting or film presentation, what is more nerve-wracking?
Film presentation.
Okay.
Pre-production is apne log.
I think that was an amazing ending. Thank you so much to Kopal for coming on our podcast, being the first person to agree to do this. Thank you so much for Muffin for making time out of her busy day to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you Superfly Films for closing their office for 2 hours so we could do this here. And thank you.
Thank you for having me. It wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought it would be.
Thank you. That's all I wanted. I wanted it to be comfortable, but amazing.
And Muffin loved it. But it's really baby stuff, guys. Like people who actually play the piano will know this is baby stuff.
No. I will tell you what baby stuff is. That's baby stuff.
But I don't know how to do that.